There you were, holy, pure, almost immaculate, but intentionally dishonest to the core. Greeks and Romans, they had their day, you had yours. Your factories spewed smoke into the air. Your stores were stocked with unusual goods, both foreign and domestic. Your capacity for national fulfillment was unlimited, but all was not well.
A special collection of music especially designed for you.
Can you dig it?
America. The truly inhospitable, eerie environment.
A beacon of bigotry to those who stare at her two-faced hypocrisy.
The land of products and money in circulation. Designed for the very wealthy. Boy, do we have plenty of them.
No such thing as happenstance, just massive scams and master plans to stockpile stacks wrapped in elastic bands and keep the furnace flames fueled with the fat of lambs. The stage is set so you can stomp feet and clap your hands in defiance of our overseers' aims, and the parasites trying to find a host to sink their fangs where the underhanded flourish and lotus eaters reign. The music's like cooling for the overheated brain.
You can count
it's
on
yin and yang here, Seth and Cain and Jin exploiting globally for gain till the rain clears. The air's getting thin. Where was I again? On the strange transcendental plane carried by the wind, where the mortal hand painted lines on Bengal tiger skin, or made the flowers grow while death played the violin. My old stomping grounds aren't the same environment, except for in the mental landscape of places where I've been. Back and forth through space and time, playing and pass a torch to arrive back at the source and take the dive again. Make the rounds, see the sights, seeking light, not that false Edison, rebel angel variety. On stable ground, sleeping through the night while pigs smoking space dust, ushering their future for society. Long before the global python stranglehold, I saw the writing on the walls like an ancient code. Manufactured worldviews to replace the old, and new generations applying minds to shape and mold. Trying at times, same old tools and tricks, trying to find a space beyond state control to exist. I pledge no allegiance to the leeches and the ticks, or to their lord's legions in the season of the witch. Furthermore, I'm trying to fry the circuit board of Skynet like David's slingshot versus Goliath's flex bicep. A dreamer in the planet's discordant dream, but what are sticks and stones to a war machine?
Whenever you ascribe conscious intent and pursuit of self-interest at the top,
money in circulation.
you will hear someone say, well, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? You can say farmers or auto workers are organizing, but if you say the people who own most of America organize to get what they want, you hear people saying,
These are all a matter of public record. Operation Phoenix.
Total information.
Awareness. Program. Iran-Contra.
Air.
America.
COINTELPRO. John Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X.
Yes, America.
Something is very wrong.
Covert action, clandestine operations.
Keeping you doing things so you won't have time to think. Program suckers with brains that have controls on them.
Now take a little breath, let it out and relax. I'm relaxed now.
My goddess look radiant as moon skin, praising what I plucked from the ocean like a bluefin. Great Lakes a saline solution that formed from her tears shed in this age of fear and confusion. Her teaming with life, how to shepherd something new in and salvage what we can from the wreckage and the ruins. The systems you believe in are the same institutions that train goons with nightsticks to cave your roof in. Moving on, cross the Rubicon, lost in the details and minutia of the plot as we troop along. Removing flies from my bat soup, using tongs, scrutinizing every drop, trying not to lose my calm. Where we headed next? Is it safe yet? Bricks in the pyramid scheme, chasing a paycheck. What's left after Babylon's model train wrecks, and whose eyeball is at the top of the apex? There's fingers pointing every which way, a wilderness of mirrors in the devil's rib cage. You misbehaving kids better do as you're told. Listen to your Uncle Sam scold, putrid and old, the very same that threw Frank Olsen through a window. The COINTELPRO movements and uprooted their goals and counted up as silver coins like Judas of old. I was wasn't with the king of kings, I was superimposed. Said it twice more, waiting for the rooster to crow. Bowed my head in shame, felt like I was losing control. Met some grifters on a journey and some beautiful souls, and some mixtures of the two, that's the rules of the road. So, where we headed next? Is it safe yet? Bricks in the pyramid scheme, chasing a paycheck. What's left after Babylon's model train wrecks? And whose eyeball is that at the top of the apex?
Let's play something really weird and wonderful.
Now, where did the story begin?
First came the birth pangs, followed by the myriad life forms of earth sustains. And the bird sang as clay made from the dirt and rain became a network of nerves and veins. They gained self-awareness and learned the names of the beasts and fish. All was bliss till we mainline venom from the serpent's fangs, and learned to throw rocks and ball our fists. Then the whole world calcified, taught how to pry metal from the mountainside. They forged weapons to defend false, so with every ounce of pride I walk city blocks watched by 1,000 eyes. Look at all the vampire bats, a jeer and laugh perched high on the pyramid cap. They preyed on our fear in the year of the rat, and treated half-truth as empirical fact. I place no faith in this or any system that grinds men's bones into grist. In between the gears and cogs and the ironclad jaws of leviathans who roam the abyss. Anytime words fail, the music speaks, so you can let loose and move your feet. Then the world's a cathedral to seek and find. You don't need the mediation of a Judas priest. Who's in charge? The wings are detached from the fuselage. The now is a product of the tech alliance and the war machine. But I can see another world through the bars, and the future's ours. First came a flower that emerged and opened when the word was spoken. I climbed from a fox all hurt and broken. It's all transformed into pure devotion. One's Blight's, another's paradise of unpolished gems plucked from the dollar bins. Dust mites are crawling in. Don't put me in the box with them. I need oxygen so I can say my like an extended olive limb. When the public square turned into a coliseum, the plans to opt out the panopticon, buy a plot of land, reduce the Babel Tower to a pile of sand, and find a portal to the time before the fall of man. It all began, so I'm told, with the sound. Then along came a rogue out to steal the king's crown. Eyes on the summit, trying to become it. Fire in the stomach, pride before the plummet. All the true progress to offset his aims is now empty platitudes and cosmetic change. The priests traded in their black robes for white lab coats, sniffing out dissent from the shadows in the back roads. So it moves and meanders, and warps and distorts when viewed through news cameras. Some open, some doors slam shut. There's bullet holes in armpits. They said that he refused to put his hands up. The rules have changed, it's new terrain. The manufactured tools used to drain the blue running through your veins are billowing smoke like moving trains, and taking aim at every cubit of our souls in the losing game. The world stage is set, engaged in battle with the shadows that the state projects in the fixed game of chess. The loudest ones never practice what they profess, and point fingers when their own demons pose the greatest threat. Malaise in the final days as the fires rage, and melancholia comes in tidal waves. Walk around scrawling my name inside the maze, then crawl into an nautilus shell and hide away. The highest praise couldn't pull a fish from the pits of hell when the self-accusations morph into a prison cell. It'll take more than pennies in the wishing well to tip the scales and see the light behind the lifted veil. So it moves and meanders, and warps and distorts when viewed through news cameras. Some open, some doors slam shut. There's bullet holes in armpits. They said that he refused to put his hands up. The rules have changed, it's new terrain. The manufactured tools used to drain the blue running through your veins are billowing smoke like moving trains, and taking aim at every cubit of our souls in the losing game.
How's it going? Good. Here's a change of
Out the gate, bagging up dust from the crates for my man Chuck, weaving out of touch as of late. High powered, uncut weight, have a taste. One hit of this and it's straight to outer space. Decompress, take a seat, give your feet a rest. No need to beat around a chia pet, be direct. A jewel fish from a cesspool of deep regret. Here's your brain, here's a fried egg from an eagle's nest. Mission control, let's get on the road. I received the transmission and I'm itching to go. We got tapeworms, flat new and prisoner souls. And last one's taking everything that glitters for gold. Ribbons and bows, colorful things. Insidious robes of covetous beings. Envision a goal, scrub the latrine, keep it clean. She stepped out a scene from a silver screen dream with the medicine heaven sent. I've been on the right track ever since. The flight path from Earth to where we're headed is straight and narrow, but the ship veers if you let it. Soaking up solar rays here till I exit. To the engineer goes the cheers and the credit. Trust the process, good luck and God bless. Get the cracks and the crevices, dust the cobwebs.
Ah yes, clutch the object of my affection. Polar opposites that are caught the connection. Magnetic embedded directing the condenser. Antenna stance and vibrate the sensor. Reperception, willing to go the depth, sunken ship, treasure chest where the gold is kept. Souls connected, my out of sparks fly. The archive attached to the hard drive. Pace tribute, full spreading the tribune. Get your paper, the issues continue that. Pulp fiction, straight through the chest plate. Find the headspace, then on to the next phase. Chemistry, destiny when I heard the call. So I stand and deliver till the curtains fall. Where we go from here, only God knows. Name of the Father, the Son, and Spiritu Santo.
Listen is best to find soon your reception. Back the funk, freak the funk, hype the funk. Inspire plus ample insurrection. Back the funk, freak the funk, and all that junk. I get busy. Listen is best to find soon your reception. I get busy. Back. Listen is best to find soon your reception. And all that junk, I get busy.
Now here's some samples of mechanical industrial tracks.
The mind-forged manacles I hear.
Horrible exhaustion from its immense labor.
Forged iron, a furnace sealed.
Its rebellious joints cracking under the pitiless stab.
The human heart is hungry gore.
Its blue steel rigidities cutting through the mysteries of the flesh.
The human dress is forged iron.
Listen to the grandiose alibis of their pitiful floundering.
I saw a serpent vomiting his poison out.
Here is the story of
industrialization,
the violence of institutions,
the injustice and the brutality of law and order,
offering them hope and giving them nothing,
tearing at the prison bars, twisting them, bending them, breaking them.
Walk along through the streets of the city. There's crowds of people there, but I'm on my own.
Modern industrialization is sort of like a virus, you know. For a long time, it served a purpose, but now no longer. People that have power, you know, they are intoxicated with that power. They're okay with taking everybody down.
Industrialization.
Where do we go from here?
Directly ahead.
It is not true that the work of man is finished. That man has nothing more to do in the world but be a parasite. The work of man is only just beginning, and it remains to man to conquer all the violence entrenched in the recesses of his passion. No race possesses the monopoly of beauty, of intelligence, of force, and there is a place for all.
as a youth, back when Bishop had the glass of juice, fresh squeezed from forbidden fruit trees and mass produced. I thought the walls were disaster proof. In the flash, cast out the orchard where the green grass and apples grew, and sat shell shocked, pulling weeds at the roots, grasping for the truth as time passed like molasses moves. In a strange land, trying to map its attributes. Live fast, brace for impact, knock a gasket loose. Fast forward past the crabapple garden to 2020 hindsight where cast shadows sharpen, and history's embellished on scrolls and stone tablets. A warehouse of skeleton skulls and old baggage. I heard the prison guards state their goals to break the individual spirit, commandeer it and take control. Paid in full, cash and Langley checks playing roles. They traded souls for commas when promised their weight in gold. Squeeze the jewels out, extract the libations, strange vibrations, patterns and striations. Arrayed in purple and scarred as she raised the glass up. I poured it down the hatch, then threw it back up. To better days, to less decay, to find out what you're after in the present age. Perching reptiles lurking in the Everglades, beneath the stars and the satellite's electric gaze. Through hell's wrath and heaven's praise, inching towards the end of days, working out the kinks, putting pen to page. I see a subtle string puller standing center stage, the same pale hand that placed the songbird in the cage, that forged chains where distraction and disorder reigned, and transmute what's coursing through your veins into corporate gains. Provocateurs in every lane to warp the brain, to defang and take the reins, any force for change. Things morph and shift, fortunate to exist to watch their metamorphosis in past, present, future shifts. Lies promulgate but truth persists, shooting from the hip as lunatics line the pockets of the super rich. Babylon's cup runneth over, she can't feast the hungry vultures, and heads of state with their guns unholstered, sending troops in formation into battle, and sipping witches' brew from harvested crab apples. Squeeze the jewels out, extract the libations, strange vibrations, patterns and striations. Arrayed in purple and scarred as she raised the glass up. I poured it down the hatch, then threw it back up. To better days, to less decay, to find out what you're after in the present age. Perching reptiles lurking in the Everglades, beneath the stars and the satellite's electric gaze.
I'm hungry.
Yes, I'm hungry too. Here's an apple, which will give you the greatest satisfaction. Here.
No, it's all right. I've got my machine. This is my food.
Creation, a terrifying word, the little flickering flame of life. I am talking about wonder and innocence, horror and despair, and things that are haunted and fraught with dreams, and magnificences, and raptures, and glories. I am talking about the beating of the human heart and the pulsing of life along its veins.
Yeah. Here we go. Number 10, chasing light at the tunnel's end. Summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall, summer, sand. Something's in the air, I can't place or decode, but lead us not from the sheepfold to the bistro. I cheated death but still treated with the deep respect in a shadow world of illusions and perceived threats. So what's real, what's projected? The signs hum electric, remind us that the circuitry's connected and can't be understood with mind-numbing metrics, or quantified by a fallen angel with a death wish. If I could translate what's written in the stars, you would see your own image sharper than the scimitar. Crescent moons to cut strings at the saloon. Quick draw, fill them with holes at high noon. From womb to tomb, from tadpoles to worm food. Raised in the woods with the wolves and turned loose. A fraction of the whole awoken by a love tap. You were not that, you were of that. Growing up too fast, the years crawl along. Next thing you know, they're flying past on the Autobahn. But all's well that ends on a high note, and all the rain clouds will be gone soon. Some are never there till the weather's fair. Others hold you down when the monsoons. I took shelter from the storm in a stable where the word became flesh and was born. As silver ships pass so the light could shine through.
Rhymes with news. Skies are
BLU, a reflection of truth, direct from my roots. No question I was destined to do it, blessing the music. Same time music was blessing me, directing me through a pure outlet to let it be extra free. A person couldn't sit next to me, especially if I'm expressing me to the next degree. NMC, I need a mic and a beat. On the hour every day, I be writing a leaf. fighting the fleet of demons off me, call me the G-O-D-O-G. Niggas want me to be U-M, but you them, but you could call me the C. Calm in the streets, palm in the heat, all I can be a reflection of something made direct from love, giving love to the blessed above. My ancestors hug. Imagine if no one ever died, but still multiplied, standing side by side. Jesus would be here, so would my grandmothers, holding hands as they stand above us. The answer was us, is us, and always will be alive until God decides to kill me.
How does each person find it?
One can't answer that because that's for each one to discover. Each
That's
one
the
has
joy,
a different.
the pain, and
yes.
the challenge.
This is one of the reasons, let's say, we are here on Earth, is to find out such things. What we are, what we learn to be, discover our own being, and live with it and act in accordance with our own being. I think that's the important thing.
What's the plan?
Well, quite frankly, I have made no specific plans. My attention has been devoted to the immediate problems at hand.
That don't mean nothing. What's the bottom line?
From the point of view of practical application.
Well, we're always working on new developments.
I meant something specific.
I can tell you this.
I'm afraid. Do you fear the force of the wind, the slash of the rain? Go face them and fight them.
I'm not gonna let anyone push me or my friends around.
The spirit of the people is greater than the man's technology.
If we could tell the truth all the time, learning from justice, learning from work, learning from constancy, learning from love, if we could tell the truth all the time, a terrible pressure would be on the world. It'd have to change if we change so.
stars on you, finding yourself looking for something you lost and you don't know what it is. The world you no longer understood, seeing the eyes of people around you, finding they didn't see it. So where does that leave you? Breaking the looking glass, forgetting which world you're in, surrounded in the density of slowing light, watching flames turn into embers, kindling separated from the spark. Did you ever get the blues? Did you ever say it? And no one could hear you.
What is the position of America in the world today?
Power mad, despotic
Cruelty. The terrible, destructive force.
Groping in the darkness of the future
toward a rendezvous with the unknown.
How sweet the sound that raised the wretch from beneath the ground, so he could watch Maya weave the sky into an evening gown. The priest casts never practice what they preach in town, but I can see a deeper truth behind the roads you lead me down. Strange scenes in lost scriptures, where notation turns emotions into technicolor thought pictures. Womb-like worlds of woven tapestries and quilts, juxtaposed with the cityscapes and factories we built. On the big screen of this dream, has Earth become Cybertron? In prior generations passed the trauma like batons. I almost lost control watching it unfold, trying to purge hell itself, removing toxins from the soul. The inner accusations fly, the prosecution's goal is to make you second guess the plot you thought you used to know. Every course of action judged by warring factions, questioning your intentions, assessing your reactions. In the scheme of things, in a fever dream, in the subtext, the headlines you should read between. There's something anti-human and self-destructive. They invert, package up slick and sell the public. Snakes draped in lamb's wool and progressive garb will slither underneath no matter how low you set the bar. To new depths, same old stacked deck of cards keeps us trapped in this laboratory rat's nest of ours.
The truth that God is old makes for humility, yet I'm cozy and comfortable with my invincibility. What'll it be? I'm waiting on whatever that I have to. I who orchestrate the very atmosphere I pass through. You're a leader, I'm not trying to gas you. Hop up on a path less traveled where the grass grew greener. Take notice of the hocus pocus of unbroken focus. The maxims you're recording are of maximum importance. A life of purpose is the only way to scratch the surface. The universe and I are at your service. Perfect. The smallest detail gives direction. That combined with reflex, combined with reflection, combined with relentless. Loving and devotion is the way to make the most of these senses. Yes. Great, and we are gaining momentum. Every indication, the occasion's momentous.
In the scheme of things, in a fever dream, in the subtext, the headlines you should read between. There's something anti-human and self-destructive. They invert, package up slick and sell the public. Snakes draped in lamb's wool and progressive garb will slither underneath no matter how low you set the bar. To new depths, same old stacked deck of cards keeps us trapped in this laboratory rat's nest of ours. Silver platter in the college fund, throws rocks and calls the cops to come. All that venom that'll rot your gums. On the search for an edgewise word and at a loss for one. Since we first stretched skins over hollow drums, men that crawled over spilled goat's milk and piles of crumbs. Some keep a fortified base to launch rockets from. Address it in the flesh, cats got their tongue. Set your pack down, dust off your soul. We shoulder more baggage than the muskox could pull. On the road, I mistook the outer husk for the whole. Led astray is a circus of subplots unfold. The molehills of pharaohs and kings are perilous things, with mandates enforced by the sheriff's regime. While Pavlov's cogs stare at the screen, our downfall was foretold on the patterns of a seraphim's wings. American dreams, bones for the buzzers to peck. Keep machine gears greased with your blood and your sweat. You load 6 16 tons. What do you get? What you'd expect, stuck and dead up to your neck.
Oh, birdie, why can't I fly away from this sad place?
There was fear, awe, disbelief, disbelief,
Wings and fly like you, way out in the
The basic law of history is the conflict between the exploiters and the exploited.
Bosses' guns patrol the Atlas, the latest in autonomous tech to roast cabbage. Fully automatics with beam scopes and gadgets, and super soldiers at its disposal that go savage. Weaponize all their fears and their biases. Teach them how to love the chains that you bind them with. Cajole the masses to support every tyrant's wish. If and when that fails, resort to the iron fist. The final frontier is colonized inner space. It's full speed ahead, disrupt and innovate. Science fiction now, fact they disseminate is altruistic games for computer brain interface. I'm hearing blind adherence will set us free, but all their sound logic sounds suspect to me. You'll know a snake by the fallen fruits of his labors. You'll know the stakes when they call the troops for your papers.
Oh, little birdie, why can't I fly away from this sad place?
There was fear, awe, disbelief, disbelief,
Wings and fly like you, way out in
For the record, every moment of this journey was monitored. Every one of his actions carefully scrutinized.
The Eagle begins its descent.
I wonder where it will end.
Predatory energy. Predatory energy. The same way they can take and mine the resources of the earth and turn it into a fuel to run the machine electrical world that we're becoming more and more a part of. There's a way that they have created to mine the spirit, to feed off of our spirit and our essence. See, because then, when they're feeding off of that, there's no way there can be any balance or any clarity.
All these factors have produced a situation in which people have lost contact with their inner life. We live in a state of constant nervous tension and anxiety that was unknown 1,000 years ago.
The further we become separated from our spiritual reality, then the more powerless people feel. It's a disease of possession, and it drove the people mad, see, but because everybody was obedient and going along with the established new terminology and things, it was called normal. But the behavior was very, very aggressive. Every insecurity and fear and paranoia that you have, all right, don't want to face, every self-doubt is the pollution left over from the mining of our essence, our spirit. Because it's in the best interest of the predator that we don't see clearly.
And that is the story of this album.
Any way you cut it, it can't stay as it is.